Group reformer Pilates classes are growing right now, particularly classes that include large numbers. What we have to be very conscious of is that we're dealing with a moving platform that has moving parts, springs, ropes. Safety becomes more complicated and more important. Whilst it is a powerful apparatus workout, we have to remember that if it's taught incorrectly, it could lead to injury, and that's the last thing we would want for any of our clients. We're also faced with teaching many fast-paced classes with little space between the reformers, which can limit our ability to teach using hands-on correction, particularly if we need to move to the back of the class and access a client who is on a reformer to the rear. This is where risks can start to creep in. So how do we keep it safe? Ideally, we'd like lower numbers in our sessions, but that's not always possible. Lower numbers allows us to keep our eyes on everyone, but if faced with large numbers, we need to ensure that safety is key. Anything above 8 can be extremely challenging, particularly if you're an inexperienced teacher. So how do we manage those risks? One suggestion is to run induction sessions for beginners. Running an induction session maybe for 15-20 minutes prior to a session allows you, the teacher, to show the client how the carriage moves, how the springs are changed, how to adjust the foot bar and the headrest, how to check things like carabiners and straps and things that the reformer may have. We also want to make sure that we maintain equipment correctly and ensure it is set up correctly for each individual member of the class. It's also important to teach members of the class to do this for themselves. It's important that they know how to check it because we change it between exercises. We also need to make sure that our repertoire is safe for the reformers, particularly in group. Some of the standing repertoire should not be used in group classes because we can't monitor it effectively. We also want to offer modifications for different levels and needs, and that can be extremely challenging in a large number group, particularly if you're faced with beginners and experienced people in the same class. Importantly, we need to make sure that safety is part of our class culture. We need to be constantly talking about safety. We need to build it into our processes. We don't want to be afraid to stop when we see something is unsafe in the class. When taught within the Pilates method, Reformer Pilates empowers restorative movement, particularly strength and mobility in our clients. We want them to experience the full benefit that can come through using the Pilates Reformer. Remember, if you're ever unsure, please do seek advice.